The last beatitude that Jesus shared with his followers was very different from all the ones that came before it. Consider these words. Blessed are those who have been persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward in heaven is great. For in this same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. This beatitude is very different from the others in several ways. First of all, it is a lot longer. Secondly, Jesus takes his beatitude and he repeats it while expanding and elaborating on it. Also, it's notable that this is the only beatitude that applies to external circumstances. All of the other beatitudes are about what's in our heart, in our minds, and in our actions. This beatitude deals with external circumstances acting upon us. However, even though it's different, there is a condition in this beatitude that does make it similar. Jesus says, "Blessed are you when you are persecuted for righteousness' sake," or "for my sake." It is that condition, that clause, that makes it like the others. We're not blessed just for being persecuted. We're blessed if we are persecuted because of righteousness and because of Jesus. Now, I want to talk for just a minute about the idea of persecution. We do toss that word around pretty carelessly. It is related to our English word pursue. And the idea of persecution is that you are on the run because somebody is after you to inflict physical harm on you. In other words, the Jews in Nazi Germany and other refugees from wars around the world, they are persecuted. Not necessarily persecuted for righteousness, but persecuted nevertheless. But we should be careful in how we use that word. If somebody laughs at you, you probably shouldn't say you are being persecuted. There are other words you can use, and we'll talk about those next time. But be careful to not overuse this word persecute. So I want to talk now about the condition. Blessed are you if you are persecuted for righteousness' sake or for my sake. It's easy for us to say, oh, I'm being insulted or reviled because of my faith, when in fact, perhaps we're being insulted and reviled and slandered because we were a jerk to someone. I think it's very important for us to understand that this beatitude, like all the others before it, has to do with what's in our hearts. If our behavior, no matter how good it looks on the outside, is motivated by pride, by selfishness, by the desire for personal gain, then it doesn't fit under this category, and we can't claim a blessing for being persecuted. If I go to a foreign country where the gospel is not allowed, and I preach the good news of Jesus Christ there, I may be arrested and put in prison. But before I claim any sort of blessing, I ought to evaluate my own heart. If I go to that foreign country and preach the gospel so that I'll have something great to post on my social media, or I do it because of my own personal pride, or I do it because of the desire for attention and glory, then it doesn't matter how good my words are. This beatitude does not apply to me. Blessed are you when you are persecuted for my sake. Not blessed are you when you're persecuted for your own sake. And finally, I would like to point out, rejoice and be glad. Why? Because you will receive reward in heaven, just as the prophets of old who were persecuted received their reward.
God moves in a mysterious way, his wonders to perform. He plants his footsteps in the sea and rides upon the storm. You fearful saints, fresh courage take, the clouds you so much dread are big with His purposes will ripen fast, unfolding every hour. The bud may have a bitter taste, but sweet will be